Hi, I'm Joachim for Statistics Globe, and in this video I'll explain how to draw a histogram with logarithmic scale using the R programming language. In the video I'm going to show you several examples, and all of these examples are based on the data that we can create with lines 2 and 3 of the code. So if you run these lines of code, you can see at the top right of RStudio that a new vector object appears, which is called x, and we can print the first 6 values of this vector object to the RStudio console by running line 4 of the code. So after running this line of code, you can see at the bottom in the RStudio console that our vector x contains random numeric values. Now let's assume that we want to draw a histogram of this vector object using the basic installation of the R programming language. Then we can apply the hist function, as you can see in line 6 of the code. And within the hist function, we need to specify our vector object x, and we can also specify the number of breaks that we want to show in our histogram. So if you run line 6 of the code, you can see at the bottom right of RStudio that a new histogram has been created. However, you can also see that at this point the scale of the x-axis is not logarithmic yet. So if we want to convert our scale to a logarithmic scale, then we can apply the code that you can see in line 8. And in this line of code, I'm using the hist function in combination with the log function to convert our values to a logarithmic scale. So if you run line 8 of the code, you can see at the bottom right of RStudio that our plot has been updated, because now the x-axis scale has been transformed to a logarithmic scale. So as you have seen in this first example, it is relatively simple to draw a histogram with logarithmic scale using the basic installation of the R programming language. However, it is also possible to use the ggplot2 add-on package to draw a histogram with logarithmic scale, and this is what I want to show you in the following part of the tutorial. So in order to use the functions of the ggplot2 package, we first need to install and load the package, as you can see in lines 10 and 11 of the code. I have installed the package already, so for that reason I'm just going to load it with line 11 of the code. So after running this line of code, we are able to use the functions of the ggplot2 package, such as the ggplot function and the histogram function. And if we want to draw a histogram using the ggplot2 package with default specifications for the x-axis scale, we can apply the code that you can see in lines 13 and 14. So if you run these lines of code, you can see at the bottom right of RStudio that a new histogram plot has been created with this typical ggplot2 style. You can also see that the x-axis scale of this plot is not converted to a logarithmic scale yet. So if we want to do that, we need to apply the code that you can see in lines 16 and 17 of the code. And in these lines of code, I'm again using the log function, as you can see in line 16, to transform our x-axis scale to a logarithmic scale. So if you run lines 16 and 17 of the code, you can see that our plot is updated, and this time our x-axis scale has been transformed to a logarithmic scale. It is also possible to use the ggplot2 package to transform an x-axis scale to a logarithmic scale with a base of 10. And this is what I want to do in the next example in lines 19 to 21 of the code. So in these lines of code, I'm using the ggplot and histogram functions again. And then I'm adding to this the scale x log10 function to transform our scale to a logarithmic scale with a base of 10. So if you run lines 19 to 21 of the code, you can see that our plot is updated, and this time the x-axis scale is a logarithmic scale with a base of 10. So in this tutorial I have explained how to convert a histogram to a logarithmic scale using the basic installation of the R programming language and the ggplot2 package. However, in case you want to learn more on this topic, you could check out my homepage statisticsglobe.com, because on the homepage I have recently published a tutorial in which I'm explaining the content of this video in some more detail. I will put a link to this tutorial into the description of the video, so you can check it out there. And furthermore, if you have liked the video, I would be very happy if you leave me some positive feedback in the comments. And make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notifications in future when I'm releasing new videos to the channel. That's it for this video. Thanks a lot. See you next time. Bye bye.